Hey, hey, hey. Hopefully my sound is okay, so hopefully you can hear me. I'm gonna give it a few moments to allow a few people to come in. Also, if you're watching this or you're catching the replay, in the description of this video there is a free resource that is for the ODOS Synergy Services Network that is 100% free, that focuses on goal setting. So get that resource. Don't know how long it'll stay free, but I wanted to offer you all that resource for free. So the link is below. All right, so just a few more moments and we're going to get started. And I'll keep this pretty brief. I'm not going to do a lot of fluff. Basically just going to really give you information that right after this you can go straight to implementation. Few more moments. And if you're a replay viewer, say hi. I'm going to go back and forth in between and kind of look. If you have any questions about anything that we're talking about, feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer. If it's something that maybe I think requires like more of a detailed conversation, I'm pretty accessible, so I definitely would try to reach out. So basically what we're going to be talking about today is tips and resources that can help you organize your business, grow your business. Some of these things you may already know about, but maybe not be sure how to utilize them. So we're going to talk about those. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I see a few people are going in and out, which is 100% fine. This is going to be up for replay, so no worries. So I am Bria V. Smith, a business development consultant with a company called Think New. And Think New is based in Jacksonville, Florida. And we're a full service graphic design company that helps our clients take their ideas and thoughts and transform them into businesses, nonprofits, services, products. So basically what I do is, you have an idea or you have a business that already is in operation and you come to me with your pain points. Myself and my team, we look at what you've given us and we basically give you information how to transform it and make it better or to actually get it started. So that's what we do. If you want to know more about my company, our website is thinknue.com. That's thinknue.com. So we're always looking for new clients, of course, and would love to talk to you if you have any pain points. So I'm going to kind of use this, the free resource, and I'm going to kind of use that as talking points. So pretty much if you have to come back to this video once you've downloaded the resource, if you have questions, that's 100% fine. And I just feel like this is going to fall and we don't want that. Okay, so when you're growing or when you're starting a business, there's tons of different things that are happening. Tons of different voices a lot of times from everyone that has a suggestion or idea about this, that, or the third, right? And so sometimes just from all of the information, it's almost like an overload. And a lot of times either we're running in circles, but not actually running in a direction of like growth and progression, or so much information makes us actually we're just overwhelmed and we actually pause or stop. So my biggest tip, my first tip would be to find a place to organize all of the information that you naturally are producing, right? Because most of us are that have visions or ideas, kind of, it's like a creative process. So a place where you can record that information is my first tip. A notebook. A lot of people like digital resources, which is fine, but I kind of suggest that if you do have digital, maybe it goes from paper to digital, because it's just something about putting pen to paper a lot of times helps people be able to actually remember. It's something about, like, you have an idea and writing it out, it helps you to be able to kind of remember a little bit better. I'm all for digital. I'm really digitized too, with, you know, a cloud here, a cloud there to store information and making it easily accessible. So definitely I'm not against digital, but a lot of times it is extremely helpful to write information down. So that's my first tip, figuring out where is going to be your centralized place to write down information, as well as where is the place, if you're going to do digital, where do you want to store the information. So that's my first tip. So the second tip I have is, once you know that you're writing down information, how do we record or keep up with the information? Track the information. So how are we basically, you know, it's one thing just to have an idea and do nothing with it. Oh, I have this great idea for my business, X, Y, and Z. I'm not really sure how to implement it. And excuse me, a week later or a couple days later, you've forgotten all about this wonderful idea, right? So that's where the writing it down comes into place. So once you've written it down and you have it in that place, then what metric, how do you make sure that it's just not just an idea? That's one of the things that I see a lot with clients that I've worked with people that have had visions and ideas for businesses. One lady, it was like almost 25 years she had this concept and idea, and basically she did nothing with it. She, you know, was career oriented, so she was working in a career, but she had this vision and she did nothing with it because it was just this idea that never was written down. She had no way of tracking it. So my next tip is to set goals, and realistic goals. And so the resource that I provided is just a very simple goal setting guide is what I refer to it as. So having a place to write down the information and idea, and then setting a tangible goal and something that you actually can track. So that's okay. I have this idea, right? I want to reach this particular part of implementation of this idea, let's just say by October the 12th, just giving an example, right? Well, what am I going to do to make sure that by October the 12th I've met that particular goal that I've set for this idea? So the goal setting guide is something that I like to use to write out information. I have another resource that, especially when you're starting a business, that is extremely helpful, which is a simplified business plan, as well as it has a workbook. So that is called How to Jumpstart Your Business to Success. It's available in Amazon in paper format, but also the same place that you would access this goal setting guide, there's also a digital link for it there as well. And so that just kind of walks you through everything that you would need for a business or idea. Without a lot of fluff. It's very simplistic to get started, and to actually, you know, like basically like points that you definitely want to hit when you're starting or attempting to grow a business or idea. So how do you track the metric or making sure that you're making the goals? So again, if you're digital, I'm all for like calendar reminders, utilizing your calendar. If you are more of a paper person, the issue with paper is you have to have it somewhere that it's going to be extremely visible. And basically still you're going to have some type of deadline. So the first thing, just to recap really quickly, is to, of course, make sure that you are writing the information down. The second thing is to make sure that you're setting a goal. And then the third thing that I'm speaking about now, basically, or want to talk about now, is basically having some type of way to make sure. So that's a calendar, a timer, If you have a planner, going to that planner and circling this date and notating this is what this particular date means. Okay? Because if not, it'll just be an idea that sits, and we don't want to be like the client that I had that basically for 25 years she had this idea and vision and never acted on it because there's basically no accountability. So the next thing is accountability. And so you can basically build accountability in a vision or what you're doing in many different ways. But most helpful normally is working with, if you want a professional mentor. Some people prefer coaches or consultants, such as myself. I'll call myself a consultant, so I don't consider myself a coach. But some people do better with coaches versus consultants. And there is a difference that I always suggest people to research to know the difference. What's the difference between a coach and a consultant? Because you may need one or the other. Some people actually need both. Some people actually need more of like just a strict like strategist. And then some people, if your budget does not allow you to have any of those people, it could simply be a spouse or a friend that aligns with what you're doing. And so when you tell them like, hey, honey, hey, friend, this is what I'm trying to do by such date, they make sure that they check in with you and say, hey, girl, hey, guy, like, I thought you were going to, I know we talked about last month you wanted to do X, Y, and Z. I know October the 12th is right around the corner. How close are you to, accomplishing that goal? So the last thing that I want to give you, and I didn't want to make this long, is whatever you do when you're attempting to organize, a lot of people have this false sense of everything has to be so like tight knit and perfect, right? Funny thing is, I know like with me, for a while, like I like was obsessed with like perfection to the point where I pretty much was, kind of giving myself anxiety, like stressing about like if the calendar says this, oh, it has to be done by this, and this, and if I didn't do it by then, it's just like absolute failure. The sky is falling, everything is over. But what I found is that in most cases, for most of us, whether you are still in corporate America and attempting to transition, whether you're preparing for retirement, whether this idea or vision is just more of like a side hustle to bring in additional revenue for you and your family, that it's almost unfair to put so much pressure to, like unrealistic time frames. So make sure the time frames that you are selecting for yourself to hit goal are realistic. In the goal setting guide, I like to, and that's one of the things I mentioned, but I like to break down goals and long-term goals, 4 years, your short-term goals, something that you can do within 24 months, immediate goals, that's 6 months, goals that you basically can get done like right now, that's like your 3 months or in a week type goal. So there's different types of goals and metrics and different things that you can set. But the last thing, and where I'm getting at, is you need to be adaptable. If you write a business plan, which I highly suggest, and it doesn't have to be a traditional, it can be a very simplistic. There is a link that I believe was shared a little earlier with a video that ODOS Synergy Services founder Lisa Riley and myself, we actually, took some time and had kind of like a conversational video where we talked about just different things. And one of the things that we talked about was the business plans, but also just understanding that you need to be adaptable. And so the last point, what I'm attempting to drive home without being long-winded, is adaptability is something that's a part of success. That adaptability is not having structure, but it's having structure and understanding that life happens, understanding that there will be setbacks, failures, and different things in business. And so you have to be adaptable. And if you're not able to be adaptable, a lot of times what's going to happen is you're going to be discouraged and you're going to stop. So I hope these tips were helpful. I want to list out some great resources that I find just love. So one of the resources that are helpful when it comes to setting up reminders, if you are an Apple person, utilizing your the calendar that's in your iPhone. If you are like me, Team Samsung, Android, I'm a huge fan of Google resources, because Google makes things simple. They have a Google Suite which has like all in one. But if you don't, you're not really like super technical, the calendar does just fine. As well as, cool thing about Google, if you have Google Calendar and when you put it on your phone, if you have an Android, like Samsung or LG, a lot of information pretty much ports over to Google for you, like your contact syncs with your email, which allows you, if you are doing certain things, they sync with your calendar. So that is a huge resource, and really, once you're growing and attempting to scale, can make the process of like adding automation into your everyday systems super easy. And talking about systems and all of that, I didn't really want to get into that. I want to try to keep it as simplistic but as helpful as possible, which I hope I have. The next thing is there's a digital visual board that you can actually have on your phone called Subliminal Vision Board. I think it used to be like $5, but I think recently they went up on their price, but it is well worth it. So again, you can have a phone reminder, but visuals like visual boards are pretty much what you would do with this resource, the Subliminal Vision Board. It's an app. What you would do is, we talked about planning, we talked about goals, but you can actually add visual pictures that basically make it easy and allow you to have a reminder. So basically, once you set up it's like a digital vision board, it will pop up with whatever time you give as a visual reminder, like, hey, we want an office. It pops up with a picture of an office that you get to select that matches your vision. So it's kind of like a motivational tool, as well as helping you stay accountable and track the idea or vision that you have. The next thing that I love, and it's free. Basically, a lot of these things I'm talking about are free, which is Trello. So Trello is you can use it different ways. I use it as a project management type tool, to communicate with team members. So you can set timers and reminders actually within Trello. It does work with different calendars and other resources. If you so choose to the paid version, which I think it's like $5 or $10, which I think it's a pretty an investment that would be worth it if you struggle with organization, because it gives you these little different apps that you can incorporate that can help boost different things, and that basically link to other resources that you may already have in your phone. So I think it's a really good resource. The next is weekplan.net. So that's just another resource that can help with planning. Also there are other vision board and goal type resources. So normally if you search vision board or planning app in your app store, you will see that there are different resources that are kind of like your subliminal vision board. The next and last resource that I think for entrepreneurs, those that are in business, even before, and you'll hear me talk a lot about this in my own personal things that I do with my clients or on lives, or if some of you may have seen me years ago when I used to go really heavy on Periscope, but I talked really heavy about an app at the time that was new called Wave app. And so what Wave app is very similar to like QuickBooks, FreshBooks, but it's a free resource that is 100% free for basically pretty much everything you need. But it allows you to save receipts, to basically have your finances in a synced place digitally. But also one of the cool things is a lot of times when you're starting a business, right, you have to invest. And so it's very important to keep up with how much money did it take for you to get to whatever point you're at now. So that's keeping up with receipts. And so one of the cool things that I love is Wave app is definitely something that you can utilize and probably should utilize on your desktop. But they have apps that can go on your phone that if you had to run into Walmart or your local store to purchase something, instead of trying to put that receipt in your pocket, and I know I'm guilty of this, having a million receipts in your purse that later you have to kind of like organize and throw away. As soon as you get the receipt, you can snap a picture of it and it will upload the information to Wave app for you. And then once you're on the desktop, or later when you're kind of reconciling your purchases against your bank account or what have you, which you should reconcile, I recommend that. But basically it allows it to already be in the cloud within Wave. And then at the end of the year, there are reports and things that you can run that are free. So Google Calendar, or whatever calendar you prefer, just to recap, vision boards, and goal planning is extremely important. And then keeping things organized, however that looks for you. And then the financial, Wave app definitely is a huge thing that early on was kind of helping me get organized financially, was helpful. And we still use it even now with the different things, because you actually can have more than one company in one account, or instead of doing it as a company, it can be different divisions that you separate if you so choose inside of the app. So super helpful app. So again, holding yourself accountable is important. Tracking these different metrics when you're attempting to grow and start something. I didn't really refer to it as this, but the metric that I talked about earlier of like, okay, October the 12th is the deadline for something. How do I get there? I refer to that as a goal token. So or a goal token. I'm sorry, a goal token basically is something that you could carry with you or see. So that's what the subliminal would be, which helps you get to the date or whatever that you've set for goals and planning. So I do definitely want to thank Lisa Riley and you all for tuning in to this. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or pain points about different things that are related to goal setting or business planning or organization within your business, please feel free, even you replay viewers, to leave a comment. Again, I'm going to come back and kind of check and take a look. So I want to thank Lisa for the opportunity. You all support ODOS Synergy Services. Lisa Riley is doing some really great things to help her community and to make a difference. And so when someone is doing something like this, as far as to give back, it's extremely important that we support. I want to thank you all for your time. I hope, again, that this was helpful. If you're interested in learning more about me and my company, Think New, please feel free to visit our website, which is thinknew.com. That's THINKNUE.com. And I look forward to seeing you on the interwebs. And I hope you all have a great night if you're watching this now. And if you're catching the replay, I hope you have a great day, a beautiful morning, whatever time it is. I just hope it's great.